Good day, my name is Joe. Today we'll be doing something a little bit different. Since it is December at the end of the year, I thought maybe we should start a little series about my favorite board games, not of just 2023, but as of 2023. So today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite solo games as of 2023. Now I do have a few honorable mentions. Top 5 is kind of a tough list to make, but I don't want it to be a convoluted top 10. So these are just my top 5, my opinion. Love to hear yours. But some of the honorable mentions for sure. Race Formula 90. Played a lot this year. An F1 racing game around. Really fun. You have to be into racing games to really enjoy this one, but really like the solo aspect of it. Frostpunk. Also got this to the table twice this year. Very tough game. Really like the survival aspect, the worker placement, the just the feel of what happens, the wait. By the end you're trying to just hunker down and get it. Spirit Island. This is a great solo game. However, this is a game that really is 2 players near and dear to my heart. So I really like Spirit Island for 2, but solos is pretty good too. A couple more honorable mentions. Oathsworn. This is my go-to dungeon crawler in the future if I want a big, crunchy dungeon crawler for solo. This War of Mine. Thank you, Board Games for One, for suggesting this one. This was a really great game. Had a really good time with it. And last is the Imperium Classics. Those are kind of my 6 or so honorable mentions. So let's get to the list. So number 5, kind of a surprise for me. And yes, it is new in 2023 to me, and it's actually on the table right now. Halls of Hegra. Now, I've really enjoyed this game. It's about the Norwegians on the last stand in World War II to really prevent the German supply lines from getting in to this town. It's a bag builder, dice roller, a little bit of Ameritrash, event card driven, but you're doing all these different things on the board and you're always under the gun, maybe even, literally under the gun as you put your people in the infirmary when they get hurt, try to repair some things, try to take out, parts of the board. This is a really fun solo experience. Easy to get to the table, very easy to lose yourself into. And other than some of the other ones that are on my list, this was actually a little bit shorter playtime. This takes me about an hour to play a full game, maybe a little slightly over an hour, but I can get this out, play this game, and kind of wrap it up. Now it does take up a little bit of table space, but I've really enjoyed this bag builder, dice builder, worker placement kind of game. It has all the, solo experiences in one wrapped up into this. Now, my number 4 is not gonna be for everyone. This is the longest solo game I think, that you can play. But I just had such a good time this year with it. And it is Mr. President, I think 2000 to 2020. But Mr. President is such a sprawling game. It took my entire back gaming table for hours and hours. A game that I could play just a few turns here and there. I'd have to go do something else. I'd have to go to work for the day and then come back and play a few more turns just to make it through a year. And there's 4 years in each game. The experience was so good. It's so just immersive. You feel like the president. There's all this, foreign, domestic, so many things to do in Mr. President, and the events that are come up going to throw wrenches at you. I really enjoyed that game. Will it hit the table all the time? No. Is it for everyone? No. But does it deserve a spot in my top, 5 games, as of 2023, and I think it really does. This is just a gem of a solo game. So my number 3 solo game, I did play quite a bit this year. I actually did a little bit of series on some playthroughs. That's Final Girl. Something about combining some killer with an area and some random dice thrown in there with a little event deck, trying to bash the killers. Every game plays a little bit differently. There's a lot of variable setup, and I think that's where this game shines. this is an investment to get yourself into. You need the core box and the expansions, but every expansion you add adds more variability, even though sometimes it's less thematic to add, a certain, say, monster with a certain place. It kind of feels a little bit odd, but it's there. It gives you the option. It gives you all these different ways to play. Every game's going to feel a little bit different. And that's what's neat about Final Girl is once again, it's one of those hour and a half time, commitment, easy to get to the table, easy for setup. I really like that, about Final Girl. And you could play a couple back to back until you beat, the certain combo, put it up, and then get it out maybe next month. It's very easy to get out. And I really enjoyed the experience of Final Girl. All right, on to my number 2, and I did get to the table. This is a game that I've actually bought twice. The first time I just wasn't quite in the mindset. I was younger in my board gaming, hobby, and that is Mage Knight. But when I finally bought this game, sat down and really played this game, I really enjoyed it solo. It's just such a great experience. Takes about 2.5, 3 hours or so to do a full run, a full scenario, but man, is it a lot of fun. The deck building in that game, even though you feel like you may only see that card a few times, when you get to play it and when you expand your deck and when you can do more actions on your turn, it really feels good when those actions are a little bit weighty. And at the end of the game, man, is it a puzzle to try to take down those keeps or those castles, those strongholds. And it's just so much fun. Once again, not for everyone, a little bit harder to get to the table. And if you're not a pure soloist, really tough for me to suggest the multiplayer version of it, though. I know a lot of people do like it, but to me, this would be a solo only type game. Did try to play it with 2, but man, the solo experience of this game really blows everything else out of the water. So on to my number 1, which is probably a lot of people's number 1, and for good reason. It is Marvel Champions. Such a good game. I played this two-handed solo. I don't like the pure solo. That's just me. But two-handed solo, you get a chance to build up the boards. You get that dichotomy of 2 different characters fighting against a single villain. You see more of the villain deck than you do with pure solo. More encounter cards come out. Really feels more thematic at the two-handed solo. And I really like that about this game. And there's so many villains now. I actually don't play Marvel Champions unless I'm going to do a campaign. I like to just pick two heroes, make their decks for them, and then play the 5 scenarios and beat those back to back. Next Evolution was one of the best expansions for me of Marvel Champions and really reinvigorated kind of the game. X-Force, I'm, kind of mid on, but just the scenarios and next Evolution really elevated that this year for me. So Marvel Champions, I have a lot of the collection. I don't want to say all of it, but I would say 80 to 90% of it, and I really like that for solo play. Once again, I play solo two-handed, but I know a lot of people do play the, just one-on-one. So in the end, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just kind of for fun, telling you my top 5 solo games as of 2023. I did play a lot of these in 2023. These may change next year, but just to give you some different perspectives on some of these games. I think I've played quite a few solo games since we got this table in the back room this year. So solo gaming is just a nice way to get away from the screens, to kind of get away, to isolate, yourself, or, if a family member is, reading or wants to do something else, or if you have a little time just for yourself, get away from a screen and just play a nice board game, a tactile feel with some cards, some tokens, just a nice little getaway. I know this is a Board Games for Two channel, but sometimes we all need that kind of introspective experience for ourselves. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the top 5. Like I said, gave about 6 honorable mentions. I know that's quite a bit. Maybe we'll expand this to top 10 in the future, but those are my top 5 of 2023. So hope you have a good day, and until next time.